Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Rachel Wild, a life coach and tarot reader. And today I want to talk to you about how you can shift your vibe instantly. Anytime you're feeling a little worried, bogged down, some weird energy circling around, whatever. I'm going to help you today by giving you some ways that you can quickly shift that, totally just transform that energy into a more positive experience that actually makes you feel better. Right, okay, so the first thing I want to talk to you about, and I believe in this method so much. I have done this myself time and time again, and I like to call it the self-talk it out method. Okay, so once upon a time, when I was feeling a lot of heavy negative emotions kind of regularly, I would take a drive and I would have to literally tell myself a different story about what was going on, right? So you can start this by, just getting off on your own for a little bit so you can get really clear with yourself. But when you feel like you're just swarming in this sea of swirling negative thoughts, whether they're, worrisome thoughts or fearful thoughts, maybe even sometimes like beating yourself up a little bit or whatever. Once you notice that's happening and you want to feel better, get off by yourself. Go take a drive, go take a walk, go in your bedroom or whatever, and simply start talking about what you're feeling. I'm feeling, really anxious in my chest. This is on my mind. This is what I'm thinking about it. So it really helps to start bringing words to the thoughts because it makes it a little bit more tangible. When they're just kind of like circulating, it's really chaotic, right? Words start to clear it up a little bit, right? Our brains can focus on what we're saying instead of like a million bajillion thoughts in our head. So just start talking it out. I'm feeling really anxious because I just lost my job. I'm not sure where the next money in my life is coming from. I'm feeling really shaky. I'm feeling really upset. I'm feeling fearful. I can feel it in my chest. I can feel it in my stomach. Da 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 da. Okay, so you've really clearly identified the perceived problem in your life and what it's causing you to feel in your body. And you're really clear about what the problem is. So the next part is to simply start talking about the exact opposite of the problem. So it could be something like, even though I just lost my job, I trust that there are, an infinite number of opportunities out there coming my way, and I trust that I am being guided and led on my path. I trust that something bigger and better is coming into my life. I choose to believe that something positive will come from all of this. And then you can start getting really grateful for what is happening. This is just an example about the job loss. It could be anything really, but you could say something like, wow, I'm actually really so grateful that this has caused me to slow down a little bit and rest a little bit more than I would have had time to do beforehand. Oh, I'm really grateful that now I have more time to spend with my partner and I have more time to spend with my kids at home. Whatever it is that you can start to be grateful for what's happening right now, in combination with starting to tell yourself a different story, it's going to help lift your vibe. I have done this so many times personally for different things in my life to just really be the alchemist in my own life and transmute the energy that was circulating within my mind and in my emotions and body. We can do this at any time. So I just want you to get really used to telling a positive story about yourself and go on and on and on and on and on, if it's the job loss situation and we go back to, the positive story about it, wow, maybe this is leading me to follow my passions in a new way than I ever have before. Maybe you get on a tangent about, what do I have to offer the world? What are my skills? What value do I have? And just list it, oh, I'm really good at this. Oh, I believe that I am such a valuable person that I'm going to be employed very quickly again. Or I'm such a brave and bold person that I'm going to start a business that's going to be really lucrative, and this is my sign from the universe, right? So it's flipping the script totally, right? And you're going to notice that as you do this, while you're talking it out with yourself, that your body's going to start feeling better. You're going to feel those intense negative emotions start to dissolve, start to dissipate, and for me, I know a lot of times, I just feel so much better. I feel lighter, right? Like I've lifted a heavy burden off my back, and I have transmuted a lot of heavy feeling negative emotions by bringing positive emotions into my body, by really changing the thoughts that I'm thinking in my head, and I'm doing it in a very tangible and direct way by using my words to get my brain to focus, and I consciously shift it, right? So this is really the main way that you can instantly shift your vibe at any time that you feel a lot of negative swirling emotions going around in your head. And I've touched on it a little bit, but I'm going to go a little bit more extensively into gratitude and what you can do to kind of take a daily gratitude session as a daily preventative, right? To these swirling negative emotions that could build up, right? It's like taking like a vitamin supplement daily or something like that, but we're taking a dose of gratitude. So for me, my life dramatically shifted and changed when I began implementing the practice of gratitude every night at the dinner table with my children. And my son was really little at that time, so it was really me and my daughter who was doing this. And I think she was probably like 4 or 5 at the time. But it started out by both of us just asking each other, what did we like about the day? And eventually, because she was young, so I used the word, what do you like? But then we shifted it to like, what are you grateful for? What are you thankful for? And honestly, there was no limit to how much we would say to each other. We would just go back and forth, 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 listing off every single thing that we were grateful for, that we liked about the day. And the very interesting part about this daily practice is that when you get into it, there are some days that are pretty hard sometimes. There feels like there's some negative things happening, And if I didn't have that daily gratitude practice at the time, my mind was predisposed to pick up on the negative events and focus on them. The point is, I take a daily gratitude practice to really combat that automatic predisposition of my brain to focus on something that's negative. So, during those difficult days, we would sit around at the table and we would go, what did we like about today? And sometimes at first, it would be a little difficult to latch on to what we liked if there were a few different things that seemed like they went wrong that day or whatever, and that's the meaning we prescribed to them. But, we would sit there until we thought of some things we liked. And once you start doing that, it just spirals. And just like any other day, where most things seem to be going right, even on the days where, it seemed like they weren't, when we did this gratitude practice, we still spiraled into so many things that we liked about the day that we were really actually grateful for. And this whole spiraling gratitude movement that we did every night at the dinner table, it created so much positive momentum in our lives that kept building every single day. Like, imagine when you go to the gym and you work out certain muscles of your body every single day, it gets stronger, right? And you're able to use that muscle in new and better ways than you ever were before. And it's the same thing with gratitude. It's building this muscle. And what it does, not only does it kind of make you resilient to things that might happen in your life that don't go so great, but it also starts attracting really great experiences into your life, because you're creating consciously this really high positive vibration every day. Gratitude is a super high vibe to be in. And when you just marinate in that, for 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes at the dinner table every night, just talking about everything that's going great, more and more great things start to show up in your life. When I first started doing this, all of a sudden, all of these different free things started coming into my life, like, a free yoga mat would show up in my life. Free tarot cards showed up in my life. I actually ended up attracting 3 different beautiful pieces of furniture to put in my house, and I paid $45. That's all I paid, and I had these new beautiful pieces of furniture. 2 of them were free. 1 of them I paid $45 for, and it was delivered for free. And it was the idea of the person selling it to deliver it to me for free. So it was just really amazing. But stuff like that was just happening all the time. And when more stuff like that happens, it just creates more things that you can say that you like and you're grateful for. And then more things start to show up. Then I started manifesting amounts of money here and there out of nowhere. One day I went to an interview, and I got paid $125 just for showing up to the interview. I didn't get hired there because it was a labor job, and I'm a petite woman, so we ended up agreeing that it wasn't the best fit. But really, I got a tour of this beautiful place that grew these amazing microgreens, and I just had a really great time being there, and the owner just said, well, I'm just going to go ahead and give you $100 for coming out today. And I said, oh, okay. And he wrote me a check for $125. And then I walked away from that interview that day with $125. And so stuff like that started happening. And then, I started manifesting larger amounts of money into my life. And I started attracting a lot more opportunities into my life, and I started attracting really amazing soul sister friends, and it just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. So I would say self-talk it out, when you're in the midst of those swirling emotions, those swirling negative thoughts where it's so chaotic, so confusing. Go get a little bit of clarity, start talking about exactly what it is that's bothering you, because sometimes it gets to be so much when we don't tend to it that we don't even freaking know. So we got to go get clear on it. And then once that happens, simply shift that story, flip that script, start talking about it in a positive way, and be grateful for what is happening in your life. And secondly, as a preventative, because I really never even mostly get to that point of chaotic, crazy, negative emotions now. If something in my life happens that triggers me into feeling, some of these negative emotions and thoughts, I really take care of it right away. And I do still use the self-talk it out method at times when things come up in my life, but I do remember there was a time where, I really had to do it every day, a couple of times a day, throughout the day, when I was first starting this practice. So just meet yourself where you are and just commit to being aware of it, getting clear, and shifting it, because you can shift out of it, and it feels so much better when you do. And I really, really encourage a daily gratitude practice. it's so much fun when you can get somebody else in on the experience with you. So if you live with a roommate, maybe you do it together, or your mom or your dad, or you do it with your partner or your kids. Certainly you can do it by yourself too, and I also do it by myself. But it's so much fun when you get other people in on it, and then you guys are just vibing together and just creating this really positive upward spiral of, just super high vibes that feel really good. And since that's what you're putting out into the universe, then you get more of that back into your life, and it just becomes this incredible ball of momentum that just keeps spiraling and spiraling and spiraling, and it's really beautiful, and it changes your life and makes you feel a lot better overall all the time. Okay, so that's really all I have to say today about how to shift your vibe instantly. I really hope that this helped some of you folks out there, and again, my name is Rachel Wild. Subscribe to my channel if you would love to hear more videos from me and be notified when my new ones come out. Like this video if you took something away from it that impacted you, and please share this message if you think it would help others as well. Alright everybody, have a great rest of the day. I'll see you next time. Bye.